Welcome back in to the David L. Gray Show, voicing truth and reason. Got an exciting show for you today. Just a quick show. Some exciting news. I was thinking that, I've never had like a video show on the Rosary. I don't think I have. Or really on the Blessed Mother Mary outside my radio show when I had it on a Guadalupe radio network. Talk about the Blessed Mother quite a bit on my audio podcast, the Liturgical Sense of the Readings at Mass, but never had a show. So I thought this was a great opportunity to have a show. And on the Rosary, got my friend Joe Crussell. He's going to come on and talk about Rosary Men. That's rosarymen.com. It is a rosary group for men, by men. And he has a exciting announcement that's coming up on February the 8th. Something really special going on there. So, yeah, let's speak with Joe about Rosary Men and hear about his ministry that he started with two other men called Rosary Men. And you can find them again online at rosarymen.com. I encourage you to go there, check it out. And doesn't cost you anything to find out whether praying the rosary once a day during the week for about 20 minutes is something that you can fit into your lifestyle. So let's get into it.
Hovering over the skies of a post-Christian society, we have spotted a man with a donut in one hand and rosary beads in another.
Child, I'm about to whoop Satan's behind.
He is boldly proclaiming truth and reason like no rigid Catholic ever has before. The David L. Gray Show begins now.
Joe Crussell is a Catholic husband, a father of three, and a business partner in a digital marketing company called U.S. Digital Partners. He's born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. He grew up surrounded by many gifts of faith. It was his upbringing and ever-curious nature that came to bear in his faith that led him to many blessings, such as marrying his high school sweetheart, Christy, and they have three children in their marriage. And he also, like I said, created Rosary Men. That was part of the trajectory of the blessings that he found belonging to the Catholic faith. So he's definitely been responding to God's call, Joe has. And he says, whether it is as an assistant coach, coaching his children in sports, helping his clients in his digital marketing firm, or the challenges he goes through with being a business owner, or doing the simple things like maintaining a home, he says his faith is always present. And he says this presence has helped him, Todd and Michael, to help them form a Catholic men's ministry called Rosary Men. This group, Rosary Men, is centered around the powerful prayer of the Rosary. And Rosary Men aims to help Catholic men come together once a week to digitally pray the Rosary. They do it while they're at work or at the park or walking, at home, maybe retired, maybe working from home, at 2 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday for just 20 minutes, after which they offer up prayer intentions, pray together, and grow in their faith together. You can learn more about Rosary Men by going to rosarymen.com. And like I said, there's a special announcement I'm going to let Joe tell you more about that's coming up on February 8th. But welcome on to the David L. Gray Show, Joe.
Thanks for having me, David. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here. So I gave a little bit of a background about what inspired you, Todd, and Michael to start Rosary Men, but talk a little more about that.
Well, I think in sort of private, personal reflections, the Rosary has always been in the background, especially growing up in various settings, particularly after Mass. You would see what I would call the little old ladies club, staying after Mass, praying the Rosary. And that's sort of what I grew up with. It was for senior citizens, mostly women, to pass the time with, so to speak. Never In my home and child upbringing, we never prayed it as a family, which
Okay.
Didn't strike us as anything out of the ordinary. Fast forward to adulthood and whatnot. The Rosary to me still had that one of the stereotypes that was for the little ladies club and senior citizens in general, but also had a stereotype that was complex and complicated, and that it was effeminate. I sort of scoffed at it at one point and said, I want a manly prayer. So, I sort of gravitated towards things like the Jesus prayer, which it's like, well, I'm just going to go direct to the source. I'm going straight to him, which it's funny because I've discovered that a lot of Protestants have this sort of belief, well, why do I need saints and angels and Mary?
Yeah.
I'll just go to the boss,
Yeah.
But after some reflection and discussions with other men, such as like Todd, and reading more about the Rosary, the stereotype sort of melted away, and we've just come to the conclusion that this is truly a manly prayer, and a prayer of personal refinement, if I dare say. It's not like if I pray the Rosary once a day, God will bless me with 2.2 children, a big mansion. And
So it's not you saying the Rosary is not transactional.
It is not transactional.
Okay.
It is not gospel prosperity-esque, so to speak. But if you, just as we're told, if we pay attention and are silent, God does speak to us. And so this has happened in my personal life by adding this prayer daily. Usually I pray the Rosary in the evening before bed and whatnot. It has truly added more than what would be considered transactional blessings, so to speak.
Yeah.
And sort of it as an aside, with discussions with Todd, in particular, and Michael, we noticed that evangelicals here in the U.S. Are able to bring their faith to the workplace without any sort of reservation. But for some reason, Catholics and maybe even Orthodox fall into this realm. You're sort of told to check it at the door, right? And it's like, well, why can't we have a prayer group? Why? Certainly we want to show our faith through our words and actions. But there's nothing holding us back from saying a blessing before a meal, praying the Rosary at work, especially during maybe a difficult time, saying a prayer before a meeting, for example. I typically do this, ask for my guardian angel for a little bit of assistance so I don't screw it up. Yeah. And so coupled with what you see out there in the secular world where faith has continued to be pushed to the corner, the fringe of your day, your daily life, it's like, let's do the opposite. Let's bring it into the workplace. And so that led to the creation of Rosary Men, which is, again, centered around a very simplistic but powerful prayer of the Rosary. So we gather digitally once a week on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. to pray the Rosary. We have guest leaders once a month. You yourself was a guest leader at one point. Offer up intentions that the men may have, help us to grow closer together as men of faith. And then as a sort of a submission, we take monthly contributions. Of course, it helps to fund the ministry, but also we look to contribute to crisis pregnancy centers. And so we will seek those out and gather up a donation once a year, and usually on the Feast of the Assumption, and make a nice donation to help those mothers and unborn babies in need in a way of emulating St. Joseph.
Yeah. And what was that? What inspired that? So you guys started the Rosary Men with intention to gather men to pray the Rosary, to ask for the intercession of our mother, our spiritual mother, Mary. But what was it that said, okay, let's be more than just a prayer group. Let's also engage and have some action. What inspired that?
Well, as men in particular, we're not called to sit on the sidelines for anything.
Mm-hmm.
We have to put our time and talents and treasure to use. So it's one thing to privately pray the rosary, which is very viable, so to speak. I take to heart what St. Paul said about praying without ceasing. Have prayer from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, right? Like I said, it could be very simple as like the Jesus prayer to the Angelus noon and 6, to the Rosary different times in the day, to just an Our Father, right? But then also, we have treasure, right? We're all working. Some of us might be retired in Rosary Men, but we have some treasure that we can put to good use. And so we looked for where we can direct some of that, and it sort of struck us as okay, Joseph took care of Mary and our Lord. How can we best emulate that in this life? And so we gravitated towards how can we help support crisis pregnancy centers in need, whether it's currently it's through a financial donation, but then also encourage members to volunteer and be Saint Joseph in the real world, so to speak.
Yeah, that's good stuff. One thing I liked about Rosary, man, I never even thought about really belonging to like a Rosary group consistently, right? I mean, I would pray with other people at I don't know, outside of abortion mills, sometimes before Mass, where like you said, at Mass, before Mass, even today when I go to daily Mass, it's still the handful of older ladies, but I guess one thing I definitely liked about belonging to Rosary Men was just, for me, it was like that sense of accountability as well. It's that peace, like, oh, it's Wednesday. Like I have my alarm clock set. Most of the time I'm able to make it. But I have the alarm clock set 10 minutes before it's time on Wednesday. And it's like that accountability piece, like, oh, okay, I got to gather with the men, my brothers, the pray the rosary. And it's different praying the rosary with men. Nothing against praying with women or anything like that. I don't have anything bad to say about that, but it's different, and it does transition the rosary from a person might thinking that, oh, this is sort of effeminate, is something that old ladies do, to this is men asking their mother for intercession, just like we did when we were kids, going to mom. Talk a little bit more about that accountability piece, and have you also found that?
So if you were to sort of compare and contrast with what you see out there in the quote unquote manosphere, right? These accountability programs from, maybe it's a boot camp style program to get men in shape physically, financially, spiritually, all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they have certain components built in to hold them accountable to hit goals, right?
Yeah.
This is, not so much of the volume 11 screaming in your face, pray, 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 or die kind of approach. But it is really look, this is a reminder. Prayer should be a constant in your life, whether you're in work or out of work.
Mm-hmm.
And let us help you do that just once a week on a Wednesday for 20 minutes. All you have to do is show up, bring your rosary, and listen.
Yeah.
And like you pointed out, we have some members that are in a work vehicle to maybe you've had a couple who might just be in a park, to office settings, to home settings, as some folks work remote. But you just have to simply show up. You can certainly recite the prayer. as we go through it and reflect, we want everyone to reflect on the mysteries as we call them to mind before each decade.
Mhm.
But this is a sort of a different way to hold each other accountable than what you see out there in self-improvement programs. And so each Wednesday is that midweek reminder. It's like, okay, take a break from your daily whatever, right? Take a pause, turn the phone off, turn the computer off, close the email out, close the door, get out of your headspace and gather with us to bring our intentions to our Holy Mother.
Yeah. I love it.
You touched on the is it effeminate? Is it masculine? Universally, East and West, going to our Holy Mother is a masculine thing. I mean, you see it constantly throughout history, from the apostles to up till now. I'm constantly reminded of how St. Pio did this. And so we in modern society in general tend to think, when you think masculine, you're thinking hyper masculine, machismo, sort of Rambo kind of, masculine. And this is a different, more sophisticated, more in-depth version of that, so to speak.
Yeah. And we're speaking with Joe Crusoe of Rosary Men. You can find their website at rosarymen.com. That's rosarymen.com. And so, Joe, what happens when they go to Rosary Men? So you got some men listening to this, or some wives listening to this, and maybe want to suggest it to their husbands or maybe their sons, mothers listening to it. So you go to rosarymen.com and they're thinking, hey, I got 20 minutes on Wednesday to either pray the rosary or to just meditate on it by listening to it. What happens when they go to the website? How do they even get going on a Wednesday for 20 minutes? How's it happen from the website?
It's very simple. There are several places on the homepage for signing up. You fill out a quick profile and away you go. We don't ask for any financial commitment up front for 2 months. But when you are ready to commit, it's only $5 a month. Like I said, that $5 goes towards funding things like paying for Zoom to that big donation for a crisis pregnancy center.
And on February 8th, something special is coming up at Rosary Men.
Yes. So I mentioned earlier about having guest leaders. The reason we have guest leaders is it tends to add more variety to the narrator, so to speak. Whether it's, typically it would be myself or Todd or Michael, but we've had you, we've had other Rosary Men members. But on February 8th, we were able to ask, and he said yes, our Archbishop Dennis Schnurr of the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. So for us, in the Catholic world, that's like a heavy hitter, so to speak, right? Pulling them in, and what's so nice is that he was able to block us in for 20 minutes during his busy day to pray the Rosary. And I sort of take it for granted that, okay, the Archbishop is most likely praying the Rosary every day, right? But he too has a busy daily schedule. It certainly is very meaningful for us on our second anniversary for him to come in and guest lead. And like I said, each guest leader has added a bit of uniqueness to the narration. We've had some that have given blessings in Latin to different commentaries on the mysteries, such as Father Umberg, and just their backgrounds, such as yourself, with your background, very unique, and a nice opportunity for the guest leaders to introduce them to what they're up to and maybe the ministry work that they're into. So yes, February 8th, Archbishop Schnurr. We're trying to get as many men as possible to show up.
Yeah. And so if you're listening to this, you're a man, not even, you don't have to be Catholic necessarily, but you love the Blessed Mother Mary. You may even be praying the Rosary if you're not a Catholic, but it's primarily what you find there's Catholic men. But if you're listening to this, I do invite you and to encourage you to go to rosarymen.com, get signed up, get registered. Joe and his team and Todd and Michael, they email. It's automated, I suppose, but you get
Yeah.
an email. I think the morning of every Wednesday. Is that what it is, Joe?
Correct. Yes.
You get an email with a link to click on every Wednesday. So you don't have to do any work after you register and sign up. If you sign up for the contribution, that also comes out automatically. You don't even miss the $5. So it's the easiest thing I ever belonged to. So you don't lose anything by trying it for a couple weeks. See if it fits into your lifestyle and give it a whirl. It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, you have more to gain than to lose by belonging to a prayer group like this, like Rosary Men. So it's the one I belong to. So if you follow me on my YouTube channel or another one of my outlets on Facebook or whatever, yeah, come join me. I'm there oftentimes when I can make it. As you know, I'm in Germany now, so I think it's 7, 8 o'clock. So sometimes there's things going on, but I try to make it as often as I can. So yeah, come join me and come join all the men at rosarymen.com, and we'll welcome you and we'll appreciate you being there. And I know our Blessed Mother Mary will appreciate you praying with us. So any other things that you're thinking about, Joe?
I know you earlier you mentioned 2 sessions. We have been experimenting with an evening session, Eastern time, 8 p.m. If we get more interest, we'll continue with that. You being one of our,
I've always wanted to make that one, but I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool. Like just wake up in the middle of the night. So, but yeah,
that's really, yes,
I
it's
might
really late
pop
for
in
you.
one. I'm gonna surprise you guys and pop in one day.
Well, with you being one of our fledgling international members, we encourage members all over the world, as long as you're happy to pray the Rosary in English. That's what we have right now. My German is terrible. My Italian is a little better. But yes, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern is an alternate time we've been experimenting with for those who just can't make it during the workday for whatever reason. And for the women who might be listening to this, watching this, we encourage your husbands, your sons, your grandsons, boyfriends, join us. It's like David and I have said, it's simplistic yet powerful.
Amen. So let's close out our talk today with a one Hail Mary. How's that sound?
Great.
All right, I'll let you lead.
All right. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Amen.
Saint Joseph, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much, David. Have a good day.
You too.